Okay, everybody, and welcome to Rhino Ramps International episode 25. And holding with the schedule here, one's divisible evenly by 25 are question and answers. So I've got all your questions together here, and we talked about switching positions in the booth, but with the backlighting, it's kind of artistic like that M. Night Shyamalan movie, so we'll go with that. And we decided to film it here because this is where a lot of our episodes end. You know, both Jason and I are middle-aged men, and as Red Green likes to call them, you know, the buffet years. And it's a lot better than the windy driveway, or the windy parking lot, which is my garage right now. Okay, first question: how did Rhino Ramps International get started? Okay, this is a little bit interesting. It was originally intended to be a physical location, and it was meant to, among other things, help those in the congregation in massive troop groups. And strangely enough, that's still the case here. We're hoping to do that in the future here in Minnesota. And I had the name bouncing around my head, but I first said it aloud when a guy who presented me with this endless string of hoopties asked me, and that's when I said, it's Rhino Ramps International. Now, I want to mention a toolbox. My father got me a box of tools when I was in 10th grade, which wasn't all that long ago. And, I thought when I gave it to him, I'm like, I'm not going to need this. I'm going to be a professional. And, yeah, right. And I'll tell you what, guys, that box of tools has probably saved me over $25,000 in interim years. Completely serious. Yes, someone seemed concerned that I had promotions in my videos. No. I don't have any promotions. If I see a product or a place and I like it, I'll mention to you guys. But no, and I don't have any promotions at all, and I seriously doubt that I ever shall. Oh, why? Join a company, and would you like to sponsor? Now, this question really surprised me for a car channel. Are you married? No. And if not, why not? I don't mean to whinge on about it, but the Johnsons really had a very difficult life, and I deem that I've suffered enough for my life. Simply, you talk funny. Okay. I said in a previous episode that I traveled over 10 time zones, but really only 9 for my degree. So I spent time in England, time in Alaska, and now time in Minnesota, time in New England. So I say words like lorry, skookum, oofta, and I thought it was oofta may, but it's really oofta my. And oh my goodness. I spent some time near Billerica, and I gotta talk about Billerica. When people from Billerica talk, you'd swear they were taking the mickey. But it isn't, it's really the way they talk. And it's like the worst you could possibly imagine from South Jersey and from Boston, and then mixed together with some sort of hybrid vigor to make it even more terrible. And when you hear these people talk, I mean, wow, search it online. There's stuff on YouTube about Billerica. But every once in a while, I will say some Billerica. You know what I'm saying, pal? And some people have expressed concerns about my weight and health. Yeah, when I saw myself on camera at the car show, I didn't know I was that heavy. I've lost 10 pounds since then, and I'm not slowing down. A couple of people have asked me, are you really a physicist or really a scientist? Yes, I am. On page 169 of my thesis, it says, if you're still reading this, I owe you a beer. Now it's gone all the way to the Library of Congress, and I haven't given out a beer yet. Do you believe in the supernatural? Every time I drop my trousers. I've seen some things in my life that are compelling, particularly centered around 2 people, but I've experienced 2 things in my life for which there is no other explanation. Oh, and there's a section off of Interstate 84 And you guys are listening to a car channel. You might drive a lot. Some of you might actually know what I'm talking about. But seriously, there's two things I experienced in my life. One was very short. One was very long. Went on for one for just a few seconds, and the other for weeks, if not months. And I don't have any other explanation for them. So if you seriously ask about being supernatural, I don't have a choice. So I'd say a yes for that one. Okay, many of you have mentioned technical issues with the channel. Sound, need a wind muff on the microphone, lighting, etc. We're doing the best we can. If the channel grows and we get more revenue, we got steady cams and more things like that, because, yeah, we're working on it. Okay, now this is just what I want from the channel. I try not to bog you guys down with too much material. Remember once a director saying, making a movie is not putting things together, it's a process of taking things away. There's a lot of things that happen on camera that I edit out. And I really want to get you guys in there. I really want, the feeling of you're actually doing the work. That's sort of a visceral sort of in there. Just without all those skin knuckles and the cursing. And I really, really, really bring old stuff back to life. Wish I could read my writing here. I've been told I've had a lot of feedback from a lot of people, lots of walks of life, at least 3 time zones. And they said, for the success of the channel, I need to keep repeating phrases, and we need more John humor. That seems contradictory to me, but I'm listening, and I figure you guys have had enough of my sick to the gills with my dad humor already, but okay. What has 28 teeth and can read 110 words a minute?
I don't know that one.
University of Kentucky. Did you hear about the big windstorm they had down there? Yeah. Their state capitol building was nearly blown off its wheels. Hey, I live in Minnesota. I get my cheap shots where I can. Have I seen other car channels, and how did you react to them? I've of course seen Scotty Kilmer. 1 billion hits? 1 billion hits. And it was funny, both Jason and I got introduced to Vice Grip Garage on the same episode. It was like in this dry wash or something, and a monsoon was coming. It was saving this late 60s, early 70s Cadillac. I guess it became Betty White, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wicked nice car. And it was funny because Jason lived in Minnesota, and I lived in New Hampshire, or maybe Massachusetts at the time. And it's right above Commode Island. And you really don't want to know what we call Connecticut. But then I moved to Minnesota, and we were in the same state for a while, totally unplanned. But my first response to Derek was, this guy and I have got to be related. Really, honestly, that was my first response, because he's the only person I know who talks like I do. I mean, we don't use the same vocabulary, and we don't say the same sayings, but I'll refer to a pregnancy as an acute case of linoleum lizarditis, And a buddy of mine does a car channel called Mundane Stuff. You want to check it out. Now, his dad was a race car driver. Now, Mundane Stuff is not as polished as Rhino Ramps International, which honestly really isn't very polished. Jason's smiling off camera, and but it's a lot of really solid stuff. Want to check it out? Oh, Jason, why don't you tell my viewers about your dream job?
Can do that.
Just you can.
So here, take a look at these cars right here.
Ooh. Now this is a phone showing a phone.
Yep.
This is like a meta moment here.
It's high quality.
If we can get in the
So we got a Cadillac, a Mustang, a Corvette, and a Nova. That's an example of the cars I get to drive at work. Sometimes just across town. Sometimes I drive them, and I get to monitor them for what's wrong or what needs fixing. And I get to take pictures of them and things like that. So it's kind of my dream job, because I've been a car nut forever. And there's always aspects of the job that's more of a job, but this also feels like fun. So that's what I got to say about my new job.
And do you do video editing too, which is another one of your fortes?
I get to do some social media stuff, some video editing and stuff like that, which is another pastime for me.
Yeah, I don't imagine watching the videos I put out. We have a video editing specialist on the team, but we do. Yeah, that's awesome. When you told me about that, I was just so happy for you. Okay, where is the channel going? We really don't know, but it's growing. It's growing geometrically. It's surprising and really kind of strange. Now, the original plan was I was going to restore like 5 or 6 cars, 5 cars and a motorcycle, and then the channel would stop. But, Jason, you gave an absolutely fantastic quote of where you thought the channel should go.
It came to my mind and I said, try not to think too much about where you're going or worrying about it, and just to have fun. And keep doing it as long as you're having fun doing it. And do what you enjoy.
I think that's an amazing quote, if not absolutely perfect. And both of us are really interested, if we get enough resources, because it does take a lot of resources, we plan on doing revivals in the future. I mean, there are a lot of old cars in fields. This is the Midwest. I mean, you've got 50s cars out in the field everywhere. And we might do some revivals in the future. Now, as my father constantly reminds me, I really need to thin the herd, so we'll probably be selling those when we're done with them. And there's someone in the congregation expressed interest in one of them already. Yeah, and I plan on getting a trailer, and I plan on getting a Type R and using it like an ore barge. And okay, yes, this is Rhino Ramps International. We really do not work on Priuses. I guess that's it for this one. This is the first question and answer. Please, tell us what you think, what you like, what you don't. And, okay, keep the grand ditches, everyone.